So it is day 66 of 365 days of remembering. It used to be realizations, but now it's remembering. I'm just going to take a seat. And it's interesting. Oh, by the way, I'm Trina Wright. And today I want to talk about, when we feel like we have an interruption in our flow. I think this is something that we often don't want to talk about all that much because as spiritually conscious beings, we feel like it's really imperative to sort of always be in that flow and then to only sort of talk about it or put ourselves out there or to be expressing when we're in that highest flow. And I get that. That's the coolest thing ever. And I agree that we probably shouldn't talk about things that aren't working out or don't seem to be the way we want them to be very often because the law of attraction will get a hold of it and have its way with us about it, and we don't want that. But I also think it's such a nuanced thing. I mean, that's such a fun part of this interesting universe, is it is so nuanced. So it's different to be thinking about something, contemplating something, doing sort of an inquiry or curiosity about something from a perspective of a solution than it is to be focused on the problem. And not only that, but to be an awakened spiritual being means that we're in that space of awareness. We're in that space of consciousness. And from that space, we notice when something doesn't feel so well. We notice like much, much earlier now because we've been practicing it for so long, which gives us the opportunity to catch it sooner and through that consciousness, make a different decision, make a different choice. So today when I started on my little walk, it's a little bit later in the day, it's early afternoon, I sort of thought, you know what, I don't think I'm going to do a video today. I just want to be, and I just want to enjoy the walk. And truthfully, there was some interesting offness going on at my own house with my teenage daughters and just some drama playing out and some other stuff that was happening and just a feeling of like, I don't want to be part of that. And then I did, and I have noticed in the last few days that though I've been spending like 6 years working on this, living unconditionally, which means not letting the conditions outside of me be the thing that determines my happiness, like not taking my cue, it's challenging at sometimes. I mean, that's not a word I would use very often, but let's face it. I mean, I don't know about you, but for a really long time, like multiple years, decades, in fact, I was taught, like every other one of us, that you take your cue from circumstance, that how other people look at you and how they treat you and if they validate you and if they love you and if they accept you and if they see the world the way you do and if they're all happy around you and if there's like peace and your kids are all getting along and, all of those things hold a lot of power. And we've been taught that those are the things that we should look to, not only to establish our sense of happiness, but also to establish some of the sense of our worthiness. Interesting. So then now, from where I stand, what's really interesting about that is the recognition that all the things outside of ourselves don't exist. They're just our creation. We are constantly projecting our vibration, our beliefs, our perspective onto the tapestry of our life. And so to then say, I'm upset about a condition, I'm upset about a circumstance that seems to be real and visceral and in front of me, seems really kind of crazy, doesn't it? But not crazy compared to what we were taught, but crazy to what we're now coming into knowing and where we want to sit with it. So the way the universe works, we're constantly vibrating. Ideally, we would be vibrating our full-on vibration from the connection we have with our inner being who is connected to source, sort of represents our bridge to that epicness, to that sourceness, to the power that creates worlds, because we came here to be a creator. So if that was true and we were taking our cue from our inner being, then we would always be in that delighted state of bliss. And we wouldn't be looking to the stuff outside of us. We would have an understanding that then when something appears in front of us, it is simply the reflection of the vibration. It is simply the creation that we're dancing and playing with because we came here to fine-tune our deliberate creation. That's it. But somewhere along the way, it got mixed up and we spent a lot of time being taught that we didn't even know about that interconnection. We didn't even know that that's where we were supposed to be coming from, that that's the vibe that we were going for. Instead, we looked around us and saw things that we liked or didn't like I said, our family, any sense of validation, whether we were told we were worthy, love, all those kind of things to then define how we're going to be in each moment. So we ended up again, in this kind of loop where we were creating from the thing we last created, but we were always responding from the reflection, the tail end of our creation, not from our empowered place of creating. And so I want to shift into that empowered place of creating. And so one of the key concepts attached to that, one of the key things we can do to take ourselves into that fully, to really own it and say, you know what, I stand firmly in my understanding that I am the creator and that everything I see is my creation, is it's okay to see a creation and be like, you know what, that was a good call, that was a good shot, but nah, I kind of missed it. And then to reset and think about consciously, what is it that I want to create instead? I'm not going to take my cue from that creation. I'm going to go and just be as blissed out as I can, as pure as I can in myself, because I don't need to take that as my cue. I don't need to make everything about that. I can just see, thank you for the feedback. It's not going to affect my state of being, even though sometimes it does, and work on that. And so today when I came to the trail, that's exactly what I was doing. There was some conditions, some circumstances that were happening that I didn't want to be a part of. And I had caught early enough to see, I don't know if I like where this is going to go and I don't want to be a part of it. So I'm going to take myself out, go for a walk, let all of that potentially play out if it needs to, since it's all my creation. Or I'm just going to go stand in my creatorship and be like, everything's beautiful. Everything that shows up is perfect and beautiful. And not only that, but I am fine-tuning it. I am fine-tuning it as the deliberate creator that I am. So when I go back home, it may or may not be different. And that doesn't really matter because it's all wonderful anyway. And we don't need to take it seriously because it was just a mere reflection. And I know how to vibe up. I know how to get into alignment. I know how to get my cues from my inner being. In fact, not only do I know how, but I do it most of the time. And I would guess that that's what you do too. So the cool thing is it's fun when we have a moment of early recognition so that we can then shift it. That's part of the playing. That's part of being a creator. It's like if you were doing a painting and you sort of did something and then thought, I don't know why I did that. I think I should have done this. Or you just got an inspiration to go a different way. You just don't have to get mad at yourself. You don't have to throw the whole painting out. You can just flow with it and adjust with it. That's what I see this about. We're constantly painting this beautiful picture and we can do whatever we want with it. We can change it up. I mean, it's like oil paint. So you can paint over it and over it and over it, and you can fine tune different spots of it so that the next piece of creation that you choose that then lines up in front of your face, you are conscious and deliberate about. And so isn't that fun? And so there's nothing wrong with being able to say, you know what, I in that last moment created something that wasn't so exciting for me. You know, I'm not going to take my cue from it. And taking your cue means I'm going to let it make me feel bad. I'm going to let it make me feel so bad that I won't be able to stay in the vicinity of connection with my inner being. You know, you might sort of drop a little bit, but can you stay in the vicinity so that it doesn't take much to get back into that connection? That's what we're going for. And then can I clean it up? And sometimes cleaning it up means just going away from it, like I've done. Go out, be in nature, in a space where you have some epic freedom and you can just have a reset. Just call yourself back to that present consciousness to be more deliberate. Or it might mean actually thinking about, like, was I triggered? Did something come up that caused that in me? And if so, what was it? And how much do I want to delve into it? Again, if you hold the curiosity card, if you hold that wonder, and then you quickly move into solution mode, because you know your inner being knows everything there could ever be to know, not only about you, but everything. So when you tune into that and you explore something within your own personal character, within your own person, your inner being's got it all. It knows all the deals and will be able to take you quickly to see the thing that you need to just shift. And oftentimes it's just a simple shift. It just popped up because you're being so conscious, because you're being so deliberate. The little things that sort of don't fit. It's like the princess and the pea. She notices the tiny little pea under all those mattresses because she's got so good at discernment. Well, that's what it's like for us. And so there's no reason to feel anything about it except take our cue from ourself, which is, I felt off, so I stepped away so that I could then, first of all, say, okay, is this offness just something that I need to come back in and remember? I don't take my cues from my circumstance. Ooh, I take my cue from my inner being. Good. Or is there more to it than that? And either way, it doesn't make any difference. But to me, that's a large part of the spiritual path. That's part of a big, big part of what we're doing every single day as we stand as conscious, deliberate creators of our life. So I so had fun sharing with you today. If you enjoyed this video, feel like you got a takeaway from it, I would love to hear about it. You could drop a comment below. And if you liked my videos, please hit the subscribe button and maybe watch one of my other videos. I really like the Choose Your Vibe one and the Aligned Partnership one. I posted them both there for you. And I will see you soon. Bye.